In this video, we're going to go ahead and set up our object to be used as a live surface, do a little scene cleanup, and talk a little bit about character topology. So let's go ahead and open up our outliner from the panel layouts. And one of the things that I didn't do in the previous video is I didn't take these arms out of the groups that we created when we did our negative X scaling. So let's go ahead and pull these out. So I'm going to select each of these and just drag them out and drop them. Then we can go ahead and just delete these groups because we don't need those anymore. Now with all of these selected, we'll go ahead and select all of our NURBS surfaces and we'll put these into a group as well. So hit Control G and we can just call these the body underscore NURBS underscore group will be fine. Just any random name that kind of describes what this group is. Let's go ahead and drop down that group now that we have it created, and we're going to select the top one, which should be the torso, and I want you to go ahead and come up to modify, go down to convert, and we want to choose NURBS to polygons. Before we do, go ahead and select the options so we can set this up. So in the options for convert NURBS to polygroups, what we want to do is have the attach multiple output meshes checked, merge tolerance to 0.1. You want your type to set to quad faces because it'll be easier to look at that way, and your tessellization method can be left to general. Now for your initial tessellization controls, make sure both your U type and V type are set to per span number of isoparams. Now with that set, so you just drop it down, select per span number of isoparams. And I'm going to set my number U to 5 and my number V to 5. That way I can maintain quite a bit of the smoothness that this NURBS surface has currently. And once all that's set up, you can leave all the other ones default. Go ahead and click Tessellate. And that's going to create a new object, as you can see. And we still have our original NURBS sphere. Now we have a polygon object that is an identical shape to our NURBS sphere for our torso. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for all the other ones. Since our last action that we performed was creating that NURBS to polygon operation, we can go ahead and just duplicate that by hitting the G key on our keyboard. So just go ahead and select your second one, hit G on the keyboard. Select the third one, hit G, and so on and so forth. So I've created a polygon version of each of these NURBS objects. Once that's done, go ahead and minimize this body NURBS group. And I want you to go ahead and select all of these new NURBS to polys that we've created. And we're going to go ahead and combine these into a single object. So go up to Surfaces, drop this down, go to Polygons. We're going to drop down Mesh, and we're going to select Combine. That's going to turn them into a single object. But we also want to delete our history, because as you can see, it's created all these groups here, and we can get rid of those quickly by just going up to Edit, Delete by Type, History. Once that's selected, all those groups will turn away, and now this only thinks of itself as being a single object. Now this will be our live surface we'll be building our topology on. Now the reasoning behind that is it gives us a lot of these nice little lines that we can use while we're building our topology over this in order to keep a straight line going around. Let's say if we wanted a very straight line going across the torso, we'd be able to because we'd have that line in the background. Taking a little bit of a look at topology, we have to take into account where our object is going to bend. So whenever we put a skeleton inside of our game model, we need to know where the joints are going to be. We know that there's going to be a joint here. There's going to be a joint here for the shoulders, so the shoulders can fold down, because we know that these are going to need to be able to move in this direction. They're also going to need to be able to move this way. So as a result, we know that we're going to need to have an edge right here when we build our topology. That way when this area folds down, this crease is going to look correct. All right. Otherwise, it's going to cause our object to move in a deformed manner. It's not going to move correctly with the skeleton because it's not going to have an edge here. So you have to put edges where you know the object is going to need to be able to bend. That way the topology can move correctly with the animations. Other areas where we know we would have to have a joint would be the hips and the knees. So we would know that this would need to have an edge sort of right here. We would need to have an edge kind of flowing in this manner. So when he crouches down, this part of the leg can kind of crease right here into this torso in sort of this fashion. Also with the knees, you know, you're going to need to have an edge that goes straight across the backside of the knee itself, because we know that when the knee folds in from behind, it's going to crease there. It's going to fold over flat, almost like two pieces of paper can if you were to fold a piece of paper in half, that would be an edge. You'd need to have an edge there. So just keep that in mind while we're building our topology, that areas where we know the body needs to bend are areas where we know we're going to need to have an edge that divides the two areas that will fold in on one another. So like these two areas would need to be able to fold in based on an edge in this location. So next video, we're going to go ahead and begin building our character topology on our live surface object. If you have any questions or comments, please post below the video on brainpoof.com and click subscribe to follow us on YouTube.